Yesterday, I brought you a message from a place that was meant to remind you of the Garden of Gethsemane. But today, I wanted to bring you another message from a place that would remind you of the tomb. Because in the tomb, there is several powerful messages that we must hear now more than ever. In the tomb, if you look at it from the outside looking in, or even from the inside looking out, I'll be the first to admit it looks like defeat. It looks like everything Jesus promised and said he was going to do, and even everything he said he was in the tomb. It seems as if none of it was true. But I stopped by to tell you today that you cannot allow what it looks like to rob you from what it actually is. You know, when I look at the tomb, I see three things that must be acknowledged. And I'd like to share them with you quickly and briefly. Number one, when you look at the tomb, I see separation because Jesus Christ is now in a place of separation. He's been separated from the disciples. He's been separated from society. He's even been separated from his very own Father. For on the cross, he says, "Father, why hast thou forsaken me?" But when I look at the tomb, I also see isolation. Isolation, for me, represents being absolutely cut off from everything. See, you can be separated, but not isolated. You can be separated, but have someone or something to keep you company, someone or something to converse with, someone or something to be there with you so that at least you're not isolated, even though you are separated. But Jesus, no, he is separated and he is isolated and he's cut off. But I also see the third most profound, prolific, important thing. Although he's separated, and yes, indeed, he's isolated, in the tomb, there is a transformation in the midst of the separation and the isolation that is taking place, and none of us can see it. The reason why we can't see it is because inside the tomb, there is no light. Inside the tomb, there is no life, and inside the tomb, there is no light. There is no life and there is no light because it is filled with darkness. It's filled with darkness because the tomb has been sealed, help me now, by a stone that has been placed at the mouth of the tomb. But I need you to recognize something on this beautiful Saturday, that there's a lot happening in the midst of separation, isolation, and transformation. In other words, there's a lot happening in the dark. See, you might be in a dark place right now, especially with what we're going through in this world, and you may be separated and isolated, and you may be surrounded by darkness, not knowing how tomorrow is going to unfold, not knowing how this thing's going to end, not knowing how you or your family are going to be impacted. But I stopped by to tell you, on this Saturday, don't let the darkness fool you. Ooh, I cannot wait to preach this message this Sunday about the resurrection. Oh, I'm going to talk about the darkness in a way you've never heard it spoken of before, but I got to pause because I don't want to let the cat out of the bag. So let me stay here at the tomb to encourage you in your tomb that God is doing more than you can see, because the reason why you can't see is because you've been separated and isolated and you're in a situation of darkness. But please know that in separation and isolation, there is a transformation happening. You will not be who you were after this is over. Oh my God. So learn how to trust God in the dark place. That's what I'm telling you. Learn how to trust God in your tomb, because God is still God, even in the tomb. If he's God in the upper room, this will preach now. He's got to be God in the tomb. And I just wanted to encourage you on this beautiful Saturday that maybe you are in your own personal tomb, trying to figure out how you're going to make it, trying to figure out what's going to happen next. I just want you to do what you're supposed to do in the tomb. What is that, Pastor? You're supposed to rest. Ah, that's right. You're supposed to rest in the tomb. That's why you're separated. That's why you're isolated. You're supposed to rest in the tomb and let God do what only God can do when it's just you and Him. Good God Almighty. I pray that this message has been a profound blessing on this particular Saturday as we get ready for the greatest celebration of all time, the resurrection of Jesus, which means the resurrection of the children of God. Listen, if this message has been a blessing to you in any shape, form, or fashion, do me a favor and share, share, share. And let's bless somebody else who may be sitting in a tomb today. God bless you. Have a blessed Saturday. We love you.